What's up, people? We are back with more of chapter 5. Class trials upon us. Kyoko is still missing, but yeah. I'm most likely going to be ending this class trial as well as chapter 6, the final chapter, within the next 2 days or so, because I'm still planning to finish it before the 18th, and that is definitely gonna happen no matter how long the videos have to be, no matter how little sleep I have to get. Doesn't freaking matter, we're gonna finish this before the 18th, so expect more Danganronpa videos for sure. So yeah, let's just continue with this class trial. I feel really sort of insecure about this one because it just feels like there's a sort of an element thrown into the mix that we haven't really known about before, you know, basically the 16 student, where it feels like that is definitely the victim. It's definitely, I'm actually 95% sure that the victim is the 16 student, right, Makoto Naegi. But just the fact that it's something that's unknown and just suddenly popped up and now it's suddenly become part of the class trial just makes me really a bit insecure about it and not sure about, but that's usually my feeling before the class trial anyway, because, you know, a lot of things unfold during the class trial anyway, so we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens, and we'll do our best as usual. Whoa! Byakuya and Makoto showed up together! Where the heck have you two been? You just disappeared without a word. We were investigating, of course. How could you not figure that out by this point? Makoto's ranked high enough for you guys to go off together? Just the two of you? Huh? What? Are you jealous?
Hey!
Or are you making up some kind of creepy fantasy for yourself? Uh-oh, that's gonna be her next book.
What?
Stop talking and brace yourselves. He'll be here any second. Any second. He could show up at any time. Where the fuck is Kyoko? When I imagined what was about to happen, I immediately tensed up and prepared myself. But we stood there for a full 5 minutes, waiting for something weird to happen. And then 5 minutes became 10.
Why?
What's going on here? Why hasn't Monokuma shown up yet?
Could it be?
Maybe he died again. What should we do? Should we keep waiting here, or what?
What?
Jesus! Did I scare you?
Come on.
I demand an explanation. Why did you waste my time and make me wait like that? What? I made you wait? You've got it backwards. You're the ones making me wait. Huh?
In other words,
I'm waiting for everyone to arrive. We can't start till everyone's here now, can we?
huh?
What are you talking about? Everyone is here. We've all been waiting for you. Sorry, but you're wrong. But I've been waiting 10 minutes now, so it's okay if I punish the one making us all wait, right? If we all agree it's a violation, I'll arrange a punishment right now. Is it me you're waiting for? I'm here. It's Kyoko. When we heard that voice, we all spun around to look.
Hey.
I'm here, and no rule's been broken. Where have you been, girl? I missed you. Kyoko! Kyoko, you're still alive? No! That's a ghost! Stop talking. If you wanna fight, do it at the class trial. You need to save some of the fun for later, right?
What?
But is it okay that there's no particular penalty for being late?
Is that right?
I made it here just fine. What school regulation did I violate? Am I wrong? You're so selfish, so spoiled. You're right. There's no penalty, officially, but I bet you'll be sorry later. Shing! No, I'll make sure you're sorry later. Anyway, hustle your butts onto the elevator. I'll be one step ahead of you. When Monokuma was gone, we all rushed up to Kyoko. Kyoko! So you really didn't die?
Indeed.
Of course I didn't die. Thank God! I'm so glad you're okay! Perhaps, but that's not necessarily a good thing for us. Huh? He's right! Now we gotta deal with a ghost! I told you, stop talking!
Let's go.
Come on, let's just go. Whatever we need to discuss, we can do it during the trial. Without ever looking directly at Kyoko, Byakuya stepped into the elevator. Master, wait for me! Good call. Who knows what might happen to us if we take too long?
But
I'll be happy when this class trial is all over. One after another, everyone piled into the elevator. But I couldn't help myself. I had to talk to Kyoko before the trial started. Come on, girl, where have you been? Honestly, I've been so worried. Listen, before we get started, I have to ask you, and how has she survived, right? I mean, she good. The thing is, it hasn't been like, it has definitely been at least one full day, maybe two or something. And you're not allowed to sleep outside of your room, right? She technically has no access to her room unless she uses the Monokuma key, which is still a theory for me, that's the master key and she can unlock her room door that way. So where the hell has she slept? Has she ever slept in the last 48 hours or something? I'm really worried about her. And how did we not even find her? Like, yeah, the school is big, but still, if you look for like 48 hours for a particular person, it's not that hard to find that person with 5 people, I guess. Although we didn't really look for her with 5 people, but still. I feel like we should have been able to find her if we really looked. So where was she? Where have you been this whole time? You used that key of yours to go somewhere, didn't you? So...
Correct.
I went to investigate the 2nd floor of the dorms. The 2nd floor?
That's right.
There aren't any monitors or cameras there, so I was able to avoid Monokuma completely. Of course, I also missed his announcement because of that. I had no idea a body had been discovered. Then, when did you find out? The fact that she's acting this way, I feel like she's not lying, meaning that she's not the killer either. But the thing, like, the sequence that happened in our dream, like, we saw the person with the mask and a survival knife, like, looming over us, seemingly to want to attack us, and then we blinked, and then suddenly Kyoko was there. Like, just those 2 images, it seems obvious that your mind immediately goes to, like, oh, that person tried to attack us, and then Kyoko was there to save us, and most likely killed them. I mean, it could also be what Makoto said, that, like, he killed him without sort of directly knowing, because, you know, there was that whole sequence where he was, like, dodging and, like, rolling around, trying to probably defend against the attacker in some way. But, yeah, that seems like the obvious thing. But once again, the obvious thing usually and actually never is the answer, so... Once again, I'm going into this class trial with a huge question mark.
So...
Just now, I finished my search and came back down, just in time to hear the class trial announcement. I took some time to go over the crime scene first. I can't go to a trial completely uninformed, can I? Dang, she did all that in like 10 minutes? So that's why you were late.
However...
I'm sorry, and I kept you all waiting. But if you're on the 2nd floor of the dorms, then that's what the key you found goes to.
Wrong.
Actually, to be precise, not quite.
In other words...
I used Monokuma's secret tool, which can open any lock in the school. What? Ah, Kyoko's account. That's definitely gonna be useful. Hey, what are you 2 doing? Hurry up before we get into trouble with Monokuma!
Makoto.
We can go over the details after we get through the trial. Okay, Makoto? Dang, she's sure we'll both survive the trial, which I'm pretty sure about too. Right now, I just want to focus on surviving our current situation.
It would seem...
Because this is probably the single most crucial moment so far for me. For her? It feels like she has more of a personal investment in this particular murder. Even though it doesn't really seem like it, besides for that, you know, that sequence in our feverish dream state when we were sleeping, or half asleep. Because other than that, she hasn't really been, we haven't seen her at all. That's why it sort of feels like she's a bit detached from it, because we haven't seen her. But I think there's a lot more that we just don't know about that probably involves her. therefore it's more important to her. That's a strange way to put it. The class trial is important for everyone, right? So why would you say it's a crucial moment for her?
Goodbye.
Well, if that's all. Seemingly unconcerned, Kyoko made her way to the elevator. I'm just overthinking what she said, right? Let's go, Texaco. Being the last one left, I stepped into the elevator. And the door slid shut. Dang, 6 people. This time, the clunking was loud enough to hurt my ears, and the dread began to consume me once again. I can't imagine ever getting used to the mental pressure that comes with preparing for an execution. In that dusky darkness, nobody said a word. We just stood there, silent and still. After an immeasurable period of time, the doors opened without warning. A dazzling light penetrated every depth of my eyes. But it wasn't the illuminating light of hope. Instead, it was the blinding light of despair. What the crap?
I can't wait! I can't wait!
What the fuck is this makeover? Did we just return into the 80s or something? Is it disco time? I've been waiting for this. I feel like it's been forever since we got together like this. The time for pointless jokes and jabs has passed.
Thrills, chills, kills!
Let's get on with the show. And so, the curtain opened for the 5th time. A deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal, a deadly riddle, a deadly defense, a deadly faith, a deadly class trial. Alright, let's open the handbook. As usual, probably just go very quickly, a bit quicker than normally, I guess, over it. So, blah 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 blah. They were, however, dead before the blast, so something. This says that body exploded, body was dead before the blast, was due to was stabbed. It doesn't explicitly say that it was killed by the knife, but it does say that it was stabbed a single time with the knife, which went completely through the body, which seems to hint that it was the murder weapon and like that was the cause of murder, but it doesn't exactly explicitly say that, so we can't say for certain. The explosion has burned the upper body, yes, or the upper half was burned, therefore it was wet because Makoto tried to, you know, splash water over it, and the rest of the body was dry, I believe. Well, the bottom half remained dry, exactly. Fake nails, yeah, that's just something really important. Tattoo on the right hand, which really seems to point out that it's the fact that it was the symbol of Fenrir, right? So that definitely seems to point out that the body is Makuro Ikusaba. Fragments near the dead body, this was part of the Monokuma bomb, or the bomb that was inside the Monokuma thingy that we dismantled in the gym. So that definitely seems to be pointing that that was actually either a similar bomb from a different Monokuma robot or that same bomb from the Monokuma robot in the gym. Sprinklers always at 7:30. It can be assumed it could have gotten wet. This most likely has something to do with the tarp, as we were thinking when the body was found. 7 a.m. the morning announcement. 7:30 we arrive. So that's when the sprinklers go on as well. 7:30 till 9 a.m. We meet with the others in the gym. They head together. So we have an alibi pretty much since 7 a.m. Knife at the crime scene. Knife was found. It was also the same knife that I had given to Makoto for keeping safe. So this was definitely the masked assailant. They somehow got into our room, somehow took it out of our room, and yeah. But this is a reason for that people will be pointing towards me, definitely. Not the chickens yet. The tarp. This is really, I feel like this is a really important thing because the tarp was hidden amongst the tool shed. Yeah, one side was wet, one was filthy with mud. I don't know exactly why it was filthy, but the fact that one side was wet really seems to point that perhaps, you know, the body could have been covered with the tarp to avoid the body from getting wet from the sprinklers, meaning that the murder probably happened before 7:30, because otherwise it's just the fact that they point out the fact that the timing that the sprinklers go on at a specific time and such, that really means that it's a significance, has some significance to this class trial and how the murder happened and when. So this really seems to point to the fact that it was most likely used to just cover the body to keep it dry, to keep us on a false track. Chicken coop, so 1 chicken was missing, claimed that it was 5, however, there were just 4 at the end. Byakuya's account, what did he say? He said there was no corpse in the garden just after nighttime, so it can be assumed the murder must have taken place sometime after that. He also said that, yeah, everyone had an alibi except Kyoko and myself, Makoto, and yeah, the murder must have taken after nighttime, during nighttime. Body before the explosion, the corpse had a mask covering its head. It's basically the one that was in our room, and also the one that was in the secret room in the boys' bathroom on the 2nd floor or 3rd floor or something, you know, that knocked us out when we found all those files and everything, and then we got, I think it was after the 3rd class trial or the 4th class trial, I'm not exactly sure, but you guys should know what I mean exactly. Makuro Ikusaba's profile, so female, known as the Ultimate Soldier. For some reason people call it Ultimate Soldier and others call it Ultimate Despair, but don't know the reason for that exactly. So yeah, basically a lot about her history. She vanished for 3 years, which seemingly she was with Fenrir, and she had a tattoo to commemorate or be part of the group. That's something everybody had to have. Apparently the killing game began with 16 students. She also revealed that assumed that Makuro Ikusawa was a 16 student. He also said that the 16 students was the one that made up the rules, right? Which was a strange thing. Monokuma rather also revealed that the reason Kyoko wears gloves is to hide something she doesn't want anyone to see. He said scars. Now you could also think that she might be a, I don't know, like, you know, a member she could share something similar as, like, the only thing that possibly, like, why would you hide something on your hand? It's like, it could be something similar like a tattoo, but why would she have a similar tattoo as Makuro Ikusawa on her hand? It doesn't make much sense to me, unless they're body doubles or something like that, I don't know, or, nah, twins probably not, but, like, Scar seems to make sense, I guess, but she's definitely hiding something under her arms, or hands, is what Monokuma is saying. The wood block key was found in Kyoko's room. This is the really strange fact, because it seems like the things that was in that locker is like, if it's connected to the case, that means it has to have, this key must have put into her room after her key was after she didn't have her key anymore, meaning meaning that whatchamacallit, because Byakuya had the key from Kyoko, she gave it to him. So, I mean, she did mention that there was a particular way for Monokuma to get into doors, something that opens all doors. I'm not sure if she exactly meant like the Monokuma key or some other method, but this could be a way for her to get into her, into her room. But the thing was, she actually explicitly mentioned to us that she was gone. She didn't even know that a death occurred, and, you know, she just looked at the body in the last 10 minutes. So she said basically during that entire time when the murder happened and everything, that she was on the 2nd floor dorms. So if we can believe that, that means she actually isn't the person that put this into her room, which is strange. Titanium arrows, probably something to do with it, but I don't know where they're found in the locker. Appear to be 10 in total. Bloody duct tape. This is really weird. I don't know why there's bloody duct tape. Along with arrows, there was also a wadded up ball of duct tape in the locker. The duct tape had traces of blood on it. It's assumed that it's related to the case, but nobody can imagine how. It seems really strange, but it will probably come, you know, a bell starts to ring, or a bell starts to go on during the middle of the trial, like, oh, it could be related to this. But we'll see later. Kyoko's account, blah, blah, blah. Secret tool, which grants access to any room in the school to sneak into the 2nd floor of the dorms. This area seems to have no monitors or security cameras. Alright, I am ready. Let us go finish the preparation. Class trial, chapter 5.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one,
please tell me you're going to address why it seems like we just returned to the 80s.
Then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. Okay, well, I'll leave the rest up to you.
Well then, let's discuss the specifics of the victim. first, we need to clarify who exactly the unidentified victim is.
It's Kyoko. There's no other explanation.
Dude!
But Kyoko's standing right there.
No, that's a ghost!
Did I miss something, or is nobody really gonna point out why the fuck the room looks like this? I probably missed something.
But she has legs and stuff.
Yeah, everybody knows ghosts don't have legs, silly people.
Well, that's just because she's like the latest evolution in ghost technology.
Okay, hero.
There's a limit to how much ridiculousness I can tolerate.
Okay. So I just have to prove that the corpse isn't Kyoko, right? Then let's compare Kyoko's traits to the traits of the dead body.
Her traits?
One important trait that proves the body doesn't belong to her. Face, gloves, piercing glare. The gloves, obviously.
I got it! I'm talking about her gloves. They'll give us some insight into the mystery. I'm sure of it.
In that case, I think it would be helpful if someone explained why she actually wears those gloves.
And would you happen to know the answer?
In fact, Monokuma told me. Apparently you have scars on your hands you don't want anyone to see.
Oh! You know, now that I think about it, the corpse wasn't wearing any gloves, right?
They probably just got burnt up in the explosion. I'm not convinced. The ghost is just trying to fool us all.
I feel like we can just ignore Hero no matter what he says. There's no way that corpse was Kyoko. But if I can't prove why, we're gonna be stuck here and the case won't move forward. So I don't have any choice but to... But to what? I make my argument. Tattoo on the right hand, exploded butt. Fake nails probably. That's the one thing that kind of jumps
Kyoko
out.
there is just a ghost.
Impossible.
That separates Kyoko and the dead body.
Okay, then prove it. Prove she's not a ghost.
The dead body wasn't wearing gloves.
They got burnt up in the explosion.
Then she was wearing gloves before the explosion.
Well,
But-
yeah, she must have been wearing gloves. Because that corpse is absolutely Kyoko.
This entire discussion is idiotic.
I know that body isn't Kyoko, and I know I can prove it.
That Kyoko
Oh.
there is just a ghost.
Okay, then prove it. The dead body was.
They got burnt up in the...
Then she was wearing gloves.
I think it's this
yeah,
one.
she
No,
must
she
have
mustn't
been
have
wearing
because the gloves
No,
or the
it's
nails.
wrong. No. There's no way the corpse was wearing gloves. Whoever it was, they were wearing fake nails, remember? I imagine trying to wear gloves over nails like that would have been a pretty big pain. Besides, Kyoko wears gloves to hide her hands, right?
Not necessarily her fingers or her nails.
It'd be pretty weird for someone who's self-conscious about their hands to wear fake nails. Don't...
Jeez, man, you don't know women, huh? They're complicated like that.
They are complicated, but even this is not complicated. This is just nonsense.
If anyone doesn't know women, it's you.
Well, Kyoko, any thoughts?
These gloves were custom made to the size of my hands to make sure they don't interfere with my daily life. If I wore fake nails, the gloves wouldn't fit properly.
Then that's that. The dead body doesn't belong to Kyoko.
And who the fuck wears... I mean, if you're wearing gloves, you're covering your nails anyway. Why the fuck do you need to show off and be conscious about your nails? That you're like, oh no, my nails don't look good. I need fake ones. And I need the gloves, which nobody can see anyway.
Which should have been obvious since she's standing right here.
Yep, but because we gotta appease Hero's craziness and stupidness.
Okay, so then, who's the real victim? First, we need to figure that out.
That's the first thing I said. You're the one who's been dragging us around in circles.
Before anything, we have to identify the victim. Everything starts from there. Kuroi Kusaba. Make your arguments. Sprinklers exploded body and tattoo on the right hand. If it has to do with the identity of the body or like something to do with the body, it's most
Kyoko
likely
really is still
tattoo on the
alive.
right hand.
Then who died?
There's gotta be some way to figure it out. don't think so. The face was scorched beyond recognition. And there wasn't any description in the Monokuma file.
Well, if we can't identify the body...
Then there's nothing else we can do, right?
We can because of the tattoo, right? And the one thing that can tell us is on the victim's own body, yeah, the tattoo.
If
Definitely
Kyoko
tattoo.
really is still alive,
Then who died?
There's gotta be... I don't think so. And there wasn't any description.
Well, if we can't identify...
Damn.
No, that's wrong.
Just warming
There
up.
was one clue left behind that we can use to identify the body.
What? For real? If you're lying, you'll die a cruel and unusual death.
Why would I lie? I've never lied before during a class trial.
cruel and unusual death. This I gotta see.
She's just being stupid. Ignore them, Makoto. Tell us what you're talking about.
The key to figuring out who it was is the tattoo on the back of her hand.
Damn.
Oh, yeah. The design's pretty strange, huh? Is this a dog?
It was a wolf of Ragnarok, right?
Her master must have made her get it. To be like, you're my bitch.
Do you want one too, Toko? With the Byakuya's face on it?
Seriously? They really did something that humiliating?
No, that's not it. The identity of the victim is hidden within that tattoo.
Oh, really?
If you compare the tattoo or the other information we have, the victim's identity should become clear. That's just this one, right? The profile.
I got it! The Fenrir Mercenary Corps. That's the name of the military group Mukuro Ikusaba belonged to.
Okay, so...
To show that they're a member of the team, each soldier that joins the squad would get a tattoo representing Fenrir somewhere on their body.
Fenrir?
Yeah, this is like a whole new thing added into the mix as well. The image that represents Fenrir is... Was it Wolf of Ragnarok? Hangman's Gambit. Wolf. This is easy, give me the W. I want the W, give me the win. Yeah, F. There we go.
Now I understand.
Ow!
The representation of Fenrir is a wolf.
Fenrir, the Wolf of Ragnarok. It's from Norse mythology. A huge, world-ending wolf beast.
Of course she knows.
He's the child of the trickster god Loki.
Ooh.
And a female giant.
Man, after all this time, we finally got a glimpse of the literary all-star.
A wolf tattoo.
Exactly. Finally she's useful.
Then that means...
Exactly. The body we found had a tattoo of a wolf. Which means that person must have once belonged to Fenrir. So it must have been Mukuro.
Yep.
What?
It can't be anyone else.
Hold on. Isn't she the one that was behind this whole thing?
Yeah, that's what we thought, but we weren't 100% sure yet.
You sound surprised, but you're absolutely right.
What?
Yes, indeed. The trial this time is to solve the murder of Mukuro Ikusaba.
I thought he meant the other thing.
What? Are you saying the mastermind is dead? And now we have to have a cool-ass trial?
No. It means we were wrong in thinking that Mukuro was the mastermind at all.
Cha-ching.
But I mean, being the ultimate despair seems like a pretty mastermindy title to me.
But that wasn't really her title, though.
Maybe we shouldn't have been thinking of her as the ultimate despair in the first place. After all, looking at her profile, I didn't see anything that would fit such a description. All it said was that she was the ultimate soldier. If I remember correctly, that other information came from... Kyoko. That's what you told Makoto, right?
Yep. That's true. Kyoko is the one that said it, and it seemed weird, because it doesn't really match the information that she found, which is basically the letter that she gave us too, right? So why did she give us either false information, or there has to be some reason behind it. Maybe that's like maybe the title changed or something. I don't freaking know, but
So that means Kyoko got it wrong?
Then who was she? Who was Mukuro Ikusaba? She's been gone this whole time, and when she finally turns up, she gets killed.
Usually when there's a scene where an important character dies, it has a lot more detail.
So you're saying she wasn't an important character?
I'm pretty sure she was, but it was just behind the scenes. We just didn't see it.
Which would mean she was the same as us. Just another participant.
Then who's the real mastermind?
It must have been the Hope's Peak Academy headmaster after all.
No, I don't think so. They're still separate people, I believe.
No, the headmaster has nothing to do with it.
But how can we trust that? We already know your information about Mukuro was wrong.
My information was not wrong.
Ooh, tell us, Kyoko, why not?
Okay. We're in the middle of a trial right now. Figuring out who killed Mukuro is first and foremost.
That's true. We can have this discussion later on.
Please limit all future prattle, chatter, and chit-chat as much as possible.
Fine. Uncovering the identity of the mastermind will have to wait. But remember this. No matter what happens, we will find out who you really are. I stake my family name on it.
Oh, the Tagami name.
I have officially decided to completely ignore all such attempts at provocation. Now then, just so nobody's confused, let me state this one more time for the record. The reason we're having a class trial is because a murder among the students has taken place.
It really feels like our attention is just... But that's probably because we don't feel connected to the character Mukuro Ikusaba, right? Because all of us don't know her. We've never seen her. Therefore we're like, yeah, okay, she's dead. But because we've physically never seen her, we never really had this sort of connection with her. We never felt like, okay, she was one of us, one of the students like us. Therefore, this probably seems so weird, and probably we don't feel the sense of urgency, even though the same thing is at stake, right? If we fail, if we don't point out the correct murder, we all die.
Hammer that point straight into your big ol' brains!
What you're saying is that both the victim and the culprit are part of the student body?
Then one of us killed Mukuro?
Wait, no! There's a chance that there's some mystery 17th person who's been hiding all along!
Nope. There are only 16 students in total that have been taking part in these events.
Seriously? Then one of us killed Mukuro?
Apparently. But I'm struggling with this, though.
Who did it? Who's the killer this time?
Get a hold of yourself. We've already narrowed down the list of possible suspects.
Yeah, I know, Byakuya.
Huh?
I'm sure you realize who I'm talking about, right, Makoto? Who the evidence points to?
Based on what we know, there can only be two suspects, Mukuro and the headmaster, Makoto, and Kyoko, Toko, and Genocide Jack. No, definitely this one.
You've narrowed it down to Kyoko and me, right?
Why do you say that?
Because we both don't really have an alibi.
Allow me to explain. Just after nighttime last night, I went to the garden, so I can confirm that at that point, there was no dead body there. So, the murder must have taken place after I left the garden.
Not necessarily... I mean, the body could have moved there, right?
However, Hiro, Toko, Hina, and I were in the gym the entire time.
The gym?
That's right. The four of us were there trying to dismantle Monokuma. The whole time we were very careful not to go anywhere alone. We even went to the bathroom in pairs.
I still really wonder what happened with that Monokuma in the gym. Was that a decoy Monokuma? Was there another Monokuma? Or did Monokuma magically fix itself? Did someone else fix that Monokuma robot?
All of which is to say,
to that.
the four of us all have alibis. The only ones without alibis...
Yeah.
Are me and Makoto. That's why you're able to narrow down the list of suspects.
Exactly so.
So the only suspects now are me and Kyoko. Damn it. I can't let this stand. Somehow I have to clear my name.
I have something I'd like to say regarding the whole alibi thing.
The sucky thing is though, right? If we try to clear our own name, that immediately points all the fingers to Kyoko, which we don't really want either.
Are you thinking of raising an objection?
Objection! Phoenix Wright style.
Well, before that, I just want to try and get a better idea of what time the murder took place. Doing that might reveal some kind of clue.
Whatever you want. Somebody go ahead and help him out.
Me and Byakuya can both confirm that the body wasn't in the garden at... Well, it was after nighttime for sure. I'd say it must have been around 10 o'clock. So the murder must have happened after 10 p.m.
Okay.
Then I guess we can say the time frame for the murder was between then and when we found the body? Oh, but what time did we find the body?
The one who saw the body first was Toko, right? And she went to go get the pickaxe.
Yeah, true. So what time was the body discovered? That was 9 o'clock. Yeah, 9 o'clock for sure.
I got it! The body must have been discovered at 9 a.m., since that's when Toko went to get the pickaxe.
Now then, Toko, what time is it? Yeah, well, just before 9, so it's probably 9 on the dot now. Okay, go get the pickaxe and be there back by 9:01. Pretty unreasonable.
He's right. It had to be around then.
So we can be totally sure the murder happened sometime between 10 at night and 9 in the morning.
For me, I was already asleep before nighttime hit, so I don't have an alibi after 10 o'clock. But I'm sure I met up with everyone else before 9 this morning.
Yeah, 7:30 or 7. Was it 7? I think 7:30.
We ran into each other in the dining
With
hall, right?
Hina.
That was around... Oh yeah! Right around 7:30. I remember checking right before I went in, so I'm totally sure about it.
Which means from 10 p.m. to 7:30 a.m., you don't have an alibi.
The murder happened between 10 p.m. and 9 a.m. and I don't have an alibi from 10 p.m. till 7:30 a.m. Okay, then it looks like the game has begun. If I can't find an alibi for that period, then I just have to prove the murder didn't happen during the time I don't have an alibi. To do that, I have to make it clear where the body ended up in the garden. Okay, sprinklers. Definitely something with sprinklers, because the body wasn't wet, making it, you know, after 7:30. Sprinklers area. Fragments, no. Spelled body analysis. Pretty sure it's the sprinklers.
We've established a time frame for the murder.
Because it has to do with the time.
It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, and Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most of that time.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
That's more than enough time to commit murder, I should think. So Makoto, if you have any objections, now would be the time.
I don't know, murder can take a pretty long time. There's something that happens in the garden at the same time every morning. Thinking back, the corpse was almost totally dry. Was it the 10 p.m. then or the 7:30? In which case, I should be able to figure out when the body must have appeared in the garden.
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
It's gotta be 7:30 though,
Yep,
right?
and Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most of that time.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
What? Nuts? Come on, Makoto. Wow, what? Why is it 10 o'clock at night though? Because I thought because sprinklers go on at 7:30.
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between...
Alright, I guess it's...
No, that's wrong! Actually, the murder couldn't have happened anywhere near 10
couldn't.
o'clock.
Yeah, okay.
It had to have taken
I
place
thought totally
way
different.
later.
And what makes you say that?
I thought they were thinking about when the time murder... why am I so stupid? Of course, God damn it. He was saying like we should eliminate a possibility to when the murder couldn't have happened.
Because of the sprinklers in the garden.
Sorry, brain fart moment.
The sprinklers are set to go off right at 7:30 every morning, right? So if the body had been in the garden before 7:30, then it should have been completely soaked.
Oh, hold on. I remember this part perfectly. The body was wet. Dripping wet, in fact.
Yeah, but for different reasons.
Sorry, Toko, but you're wrong.
I'm wrong? How? Are you saying only the mouth down south was wet? How dare you spew such indecent words!
What? What? What does that have anything to do with it?
No, I'm saying that the body was wet, but not because of the sprinklers.
What do you mean? By denying the sprinkler, are you trying to deny my entire existence?
Yep, your entire existence somehow tied in with that one sprinkler.
Man, you're totally wacko.
If you really think it wasn't the sprinkler,
Then you might as well not exist. Poof!
you'd better tell us why!
I need to prove that it wasn't the sprinklers that got the body wet. All I have to do is hit Toko with certain evidence, and that should do it. If we look at the body itself, that should make it clear. Moment of truth. Alright, here we go. I forgot how the fuck to do this.
I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no! I don't know anything! Hold on! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no! I don't know anything! Hold on! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no! I don't know anything!
Final strike!
How
it's gonna
can
be
you
a,
say it
that one,
should
boom,
prove
go. Finisher!
Just remember what the body was like after the explosion. And you...
Oh fuck!
The top half of the body was wet.
Sorry.
Yes. But the bottom half was completely dry.
I'm sort of in the mood like, yeah, I need to rush through this, but obviously we don't need to skip things like that, so that's my bad.
If the sprinklers got the body wet, shouldn't the whole body have been wet?
I feel like I'm on edge. I just need to calm down a bit. Let's breathe in. Let's go.
So they only got the top wet? The bottom was completely dry? What a brutal maniac!
I'm so sick of her.
Let's just move on. The reason only the top half was wet was because... while the body was still on fire, I doused it with water. But only the part on fire, the top half.
It was always burning since the world been turning.
Oh, then I guess the sprinklers really didn't do it.
So if the sprinklers didn't get the body wet, then the murder must have taken place sometime after the sprinklers turned on at 7:30 in the morning.
Bam!
Which means she must have been killed sometime between then and when the body was discovered at 9.
Yeah, but the blood was rather dry, remember? I think it was. Or at least there wasn't a pool of blood underneath the body. Yeah, that was it.
But Makoto's alibi was only missing from 10 o'clock last night to 7:30 this morning, right?
So there's no way Makoto could have done it. I guess you had an alibi after all. Good for you.
Yeah, okay.
In which case, the only one left without an alibi is Kyoko.
See, this is the sucky part. The moment we, sort of convinced them that it wasn't us, they're gonna look at Kyoko. And then, how is she gonna talk herself out of this? Like, I kind of feel like if, in this situation is each for their own, every person for themselves. But I don't want Kyoko to die if she wasn't obviously the one that killed Mukuro Ikusaba. Kyoko's the only one without an alibi, which would mean that Makuro's killer is... No, I refuse to believe it. I don't believe it either. Kyoko murdered someone? That's...
I'd just like to say one thing.
What is it?
If you vote for me and I die here, The mystery of this school will stay hidden forever.
Don't worry, I won't vote for you. I mean, she has actively been trying to solve the mystery and everything, right? She's actively been trying to do something. So I don't, unless that's all an act, which would make no sense to me other than try to convince me of the fact that she's believable and the fact that she's actually doing something. Which once again, I don't really understand why she would do that though. Cause
which is why
I don't know.
I can't let that happen.
Huh?
So are you saying you're not the culprit?
I mean, we could once again start to look at suicide. Remember, it happened in the Sakura one. It's not too far-fetched that it could have happened here, I guess.
Of course I'm not. I have no reason to kill anyone. This is a trap the mastermind has laid for us.
A trap?
A trap or a tarp? Dun dun dun.
We're this far into the game and now you decide to blame me?
I mean, he said that there was a student, right? Monokuma isn't a student, so I mean, the thing happened, like, remember, because everyone saw it, never mind, but Monokuma, like, if he kills someone, we wouldn't have a class trial for it, right? Because it just doesn't make sense, because we technically, according to the rules, can't point to him, I think? I haven't read the rules in a long time, the regulations.
Stop wasting time! Stop wasting energy! You really think your little trick is gonna work?
Shut up, you!
I know why it looks different right now. Because we suddenly realized, you know, that this is on worldwide television everywhere, so did you know? Monokuma just decided, like, yeah, alright, we need to just spruce the place up a bit, make it, make the old, I mean, he probably checked the ratings and stuff, yeah, not enough old people are watching. We need to bring in older audiences, alright? Let's make it look like they're in a disco. Eat, sleep, rave, repeat.
You got it, boss! Shutting up now!
Anyway, Kyoko, you actually did have a reason to kill her.
Huh? She did?
Huh?
She thought Mukuro was the ultimate despair. In other words, the mastermind behind everything.
No, that's not true, because she was the one that had the paper, right?
So she killed her to try and put a stop to all this.
Well, it
Isn't that right, Kyoko?
It could be. I mean, she's the one that brought up the whole ultimate despair thing, right? Like, she definitely read that Mukuro Ikusawa's profile where it said ultimate soldier. So I'm really struggling at where did she come up with the fact that she's called ultimate despair? But she seemed adamant about it that part is true. She even said so. So she found that out somehow, the way we don't know, but it could could be a valid reason why Kyoko would possibly kill, but I don't know.
But you made one catastrophic mistake. Mukuro wasn't the mastermind at all. And as a result, we were forced into another trial, something I'm sure you weren't at all expecting.
So, that was her motive?
If she had a motive and no alibi, well then, I think it's pretty clear Kyoko's gotta be the culprit.
I'm not the only one without an alibi. Makoto's explanation
What?
is still insufficient.
She pointing the finger at me now? Girl, I thought we were kind of working together, even though I just said every man for himself.
Huh?
The sprinklers didn't get the body wet, but that doesn't mean the murder happened when he said it did.
Oh, is she gonna say what I think she's gonna say?
What are you...
Because you see, there is a way
Yeah,
the
the
body
tarp.
could have avoided getting wet.
Of course she sees. Of course she sees everything. Even if she only has 1 minute, she will know every single clue available in the room.
Interesting. I'm listening.
All it would take is covering the body with a certain something to keep it from getting wet.
A certain something at the crime scene was used to cover the body? Could it have been... Dun, dun, bam, bam, tarpy tarp.
I got it! You're talking about the tarp, aren't you?
You catch on quick. You're right. All you'd have to do is cover the body with the tarp, and that'd take care of the water. In fact, that's exactly what the killer did. The dirt pattern on the tarp can attest to that. Only one side of the tarp got dirty, because that's the side that got covered in water.
So it is dirty water that came out of the sprinkler. Okay, that makes sense then.
The side that faced down over the body, meanwhile, kept perfectly clean. This proves that the killer used the tarp to keep the body from getting soaked.
But why would they go to all that effort just to keep the body from getting wet?
To make us think, or to you know, to cause them from not having. It makes sense that, like, obviously it's because if we were to think of it from the perspective of Makoto, right? It could be valid that Makoto decided to do it because that way he would have an alibi, right? That causes him to have an alibi, because then people start to think like, okay, the time is between 7:30 and 9, therefore, and at that time, that is when Makoto does have an alibi. So it's basically eliminating the point where he doesn't have an alibi, and eliminating the fact that the murder didn't happen during that time, meaning there's no way it could be him. But how could it be Makoto if, you know, we didn't see it, unless it happened during that dreamlike state that we were in or something? I don't know.
Most likely so they could cloud the issue of when the murder actually took place. In other words, to create an excuse exactly like the one Makoto just gave us.
Kyoko, you're killing me, girl. You're killing me. Are we really doing this against each other? Why would Kyoko say that? Why would you want to make me look like the killer? Because it's between the two of us. And even if Kyoko likes us, she likes herself more. No, she doesn't like herself more, but the mystery surrounding herself. She said herself that she likes solving mysteries. That's sort of her drive for things, you know? Especially because we think part of her memory is either wiped or changed, or, you know, something happened with her memories in the past. So that's the thing that's driving her right now. Her entire identity is also part of her mystery, and this entire school has something to do with it, so that's also part of the bigger mystery, you know? Therefore, if it comes down to her or Makoto living, she'd rather have herself living, because she feels like she wants to know the mystery, she's the one that can solve the mystery. Like, yeah, Makoto is good at it, we're good at it, but she, in her eyes, not as good as her. Therefore, if one of us has to be the killer, of course it would have to be Makoto, according to her. No, I can't think about that right now. That tarp. If it was used the way Kyoko said, the tarp must have touched the body, right? But there was no... The body was clean though. But the body...
Wait, something's not right.
And what might that be?
I can't worry about Kyoko's motivations. If I don't do something, everyone's gonna think I'm the killer. I have to refute what Kyoko said. Oh, it's Makoto versus Kyoko. For the explosion body, exploded body analysis, fragments near the dead body.
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
But... I remember the blood on the body hadn't dried yet. Byakuya even warned us not to touch it, to avoid getting any blood on us. Oh, but the fact that the blood wasn't on the ground, right? This must have something to do with the explosion, though.
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it
Body
from getting
before
wet.
explosion?
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body,
The fact that it wasn't dirty
of course
before
it didn't get dirty.
No, that's wrong.
I wasn't sure, but this seems to make the most sense.
Actually, one side being clean is pretty strange if you think about it.
Blood should be on the ground, right? And there should be blood on the
Because
tarp as well.
the blood
then,
wasn't
on the
dry
inside.
before the body got blown up, right?
yeah, then technically, I mean, I guess the knife could have, you know, like it's pitching a tent or something, if you know what I mean. Guys will understand. But like, you know, if the tarp comes on, but it still would have to touch part of the blood. Like, look how like widespread the blood is on the body. Some parts of the tarp must have touched the blood. Therefore, some. Oh, what? But what? The only thing that has blood on it is the duct tape, though. The tape. But what does that have to do with this? That seems to come into play now, though, because the tarp doesn't have the body on it, meaning something else must have covered the tarp and the blood from touching, you know? It seems like, yeah, okay, the tarp was laid over the body to cover it from being wet, but then to cover the inside from becoming dirty from blood, something else was covering it, so like a layer within a layer, which must have been that tape, I'm guessing.
Byakuya said it himself. Not to touch it, or you might get some on you. If you put a tarp on a body in that state, it absolutely would have gotten blood on it.
Well, maybe the culprit washed it, so nobody would know they'd used it.
But then wouldn't the other side of the dirty side be clean too?
If they had, they would have washed both sides. Just washing the one side wouldn't hide anything.
Oh!
Hero.
Yeah, true.
Fuck me, dude.
More than that, what if the very blood we saw on the body was meant as a kind of camouflage?
Huh? Camouflage? The blood was camouflage?
What if, after the killer used the tarp to avoid the sprinklers, they then covered the body in blood that didn't belong to the victim?
But who the fuck did it belong to then?
You mean someone else's blood? Where
Oh!
would they get something like that?
Really? Chicken? One chicken was missing. That's the only other possible missing living being that has blood.
I know! They could have grabbed some of the blood packs from the nurse's
that's possible
office.
too, actually. That's possible too, yeah.
That's what Hifumi did, right? When he pretended to be dead?
No, that's not what happened this time.
How does she know?
The killer got the blood from right there in the garden.
Then it's the chicken, for sure, the chicken coop. They got the blood from right there in the garden. Garden, which must mean blah blah blah, where is it? Chicken coop, coopy coop, chicken coop chickens.
I got it!
KFC.
Could it have been chicken blood?
What? Chicken blood?
When I checked the chicken coop before the murder, there were 5 chickens. But after the murder, there were only 4.
So, you're saying someone killed a chicken? And then covered the body with its blood?
Apparently.
Man, that's messed up.
You're like, no, my chickens!
Killing a living thing just to do something like that is awful. They should have at least eaten it.
Hey, who knows they didn't? Maybe they did.
I wonder if the killer had to get the blood from the scene so they wouldn't be spotted walking around. Anyway, there's no denying that a chicken went missing, which provides a basis for my theory.
True.
Perhaps, but even so, there's one thing that still doesn't make sense. You said the culprit used the tarp to avoid the water and then covered the body in blood, right? But if that's the case, then the blood should have soaked into the ground around the body.
Yeah.
But that's not what we saw. Only the victim's clothing had blood on it. The ground was completely clean.
I have to agree, that certainly is strange. Maybe they didn't apply the blood at the scene. Maybe they covered the coat in blood beforehand.
Oh, okay, that's possible. But then they would have to do the knife thing afterwards, though, right? The stabbing part.
They covered it beforehand?
When you discovered the body, was it wearing the coat like you normally would?
I don't know.
I think so.
Huh.
Wait, no. The head was through the neck hole, but the arms weren't in the sleeves.
Oh, yeah, look at the I guess, left arm of that person, right for us. Oh, on
then
the other
that
side too.
settles
It's actually
it.
underneath. Ah, so this was put on top of the body.
Sorry, I'm having a tough time keeping up.
So they only
What
put
settles what?
the head through the coat, nothing else. Because it was there for a really brief second, but the arm at the bottom left of the screen, you could see that the arm was underneath the sleeve. Basically, you could see the sleeve laying on top of it.
Here's what happened. The murder took place before the sprinklers went off. But the body didn't get wet because the killer covered it with the tarp. Then, later, at the same time the killer was gathering up the tarp, they pulled the coat over the body, the coat they'd already covered in blood. This series of cover-ups was meant to disguise the actual time the murder occurred. They wanted us to think the murder happened sometime after the sprinklers had gone off, at 7:30.
If that's actually what took place, it certainly becomes possible that the murder happened earlier.
But to pull all that off, wouldn't they have had to go back to the garden after the sprinklers turned off?
That actually wouldn't have been all that difficult.
Huh?
What does she mean?
They already had the coat ready, so they just had to grab the tarp and pull the coat over the body.
Oh yeah, okay.
They'd be done in no time.
The coat was already, they already sort of planned it ahead of time. Like, okay, the sprinklers are gonna come on then, okay. After the sprinklers are done, I go in, take the tarp off, put the coat on with the blood, done.
Maybe. But still.
Hina, after you met up with Makoto in the dining hall, did you two stay together from that point on?
Girl, Kyoko!
Oh no. I headed off to the gym, and Makoto didn't show up till later.
Oh, what?
Then he had plenty of time to spare, wouldn't you say?
Oh, Kyoko, you're killing me. Why? Why are you doing this to me?
That's
This feels
not.
so bad. This feels so bad. Normally we're the ones outsmarting other people, but now we're being outsmarted by someone else. But, you know, if it's someone else that has to outsmart us, I'm glad it's Kyoko and not Byakuya, but still, you know, this doesn't feel good.
Don't bother saying it's not possible.
It is possible, but it still wasn't us.
I must admit, Kyoko's reasoning is sound. Makoto's alibi is inadequate.
So we're back at the beginning, basically. And the suspicion falls back on me again. But why? Why is Kyoko trying to entrap me? I don't understand. Disguise dead body. This is suddenly added? Okay.
Well then, it looks like we're back to square one. Makoto's alibi is no good, so once again, our suspects are him and Kyoko.
For serious, man? Which one of them did it? Hey, why don't we let luck decide? Let's flip a coin. 50-50 odds.
Hero. You really put your life in the hands of a coin? He's like, yeah, okay, decide my fate for me, whether I should live or die here. Heads or tails? Which one should I go?
Oh!
See? Pretty good idea, right?
No, Hina just realized something. No one's on your side ever, Hero.
No, not that. I just remembered something super serious.
Well, don't just stand there. Out with it.
You know that knife we found all black and burnt?
I'm actually surprised nobody brought this up yet, because yeah, that's ours. Well, we had it in our possession.
The one we found stuck in the body before it exploded, right? According to the Monokuma file, the knife went all the way through, from front to back. So, what about it?
I'm pretty sure I'd seen that knife somewhere before.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's what I thought when I first saw it. I just remembered.
Oh god. Hina, no. Listen, more important, now that we have the knife, what are we gonna do with it? Give it to... But why? Why was everyone so adamant? We didn't even get a chance to say, no, we don't want it. They just shoved it in our hands like, here, we trust you. Take care of it. And of course, everyone trusts us, and that moment, the knife, like, you know, shows up at the next murder, and then everybody doesn't trust us anymore. We can just skip through this.
It's the knife we gave to Makoto?
Oh, yeah, this is an appropriate time to be sweating, Makoto.
You don't seem surprised. You must have noticed earlier.
Of course.
Yeah.
Then why did you hide that fact?
It's not that I hid it. It's just...
The thing is, like, you know, we sort of have a story of what possibly happened with Knife, but nobody is gonna believe it except maybe Kyoko, but she's trying to pin it on me now. On us. So if we bring this up, is she gonna back it up, or is she just gonna say it was a dream or a nightmare or whatever, we're hallucinating? I couldn't be sure of what actually happened last night. I thought maybe I really did kill her.
Suspicious.
But look,
very suspicious indeed.
but in that sort of screen, right? Like, I'm guessing it can be trusted. Like, sure, we had a fever. Sure, we could have possibly been dreaming, but I guess those visions are real. They have to be real, right? So, and in that particular screen image, you could see that Makoto Ikuzawa was actually wearing the coat appropriately, right? It was actually she had it on as you should. Arms in the sleeves, the front was just perfectly normal, everything, so she was actually wearing the coat back then. So at some point it must have taken off, put blood on it, and then put it on without much, you know, without much detail. Just only put the neck through it, done.
The knife we found stuck in the body came from Makoto. Now I'm totally convinced he did it. 12,000% convinced.
Sorry, hero. Considering everything up till now, I should be able to make it clear. I have to prove that I didn't murder anyone. I'm not the killer. Disguise the body. Exploded body analysis. Fragments near the body. I'm guessing it's the disguise thingy because that just
The
came
knife
into
we
play.
found lodged in the dead body.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that knife before, then that seals it. Makoto did it.
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer?
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right? So there's
It
no
doesn't
question.
say it. It didn't say that getting
You
stabbed
took that
killed
knife
her.
of yours and killed her with it.
What a horrible man you are, Makoto.
It doesn't technically say that what was stabbed killed her. It just said she was stabbed, but that wasn't necessarily the cause for her death. We've already established that the coat was put on after the tarp was removed, which means when the knife was thrust through the coat into the body.
The knife we
Okay, so
found
this is
lodged
definitely
in
the
the dead
disguise
body.
thingy. Because why would the
It's
clue
the
suddenly
same one
be
we
given now,
gave
right?
to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it?
If he did have
think
that,
it's
that
the
seals it.
stab.
Just because I had the knife, that automatically...
Well, getting stabbed it.
No, that's wrong. Wait, hold on. The stab wound isn't what killed Mukuro. That should be clear from the description of the cover-up we just heard.
Lies! We never talked about what killed her.
No, don't you remember? The killer covered the dead body with the tarp, and then put the bloody coat on it, right? In other words, the victim never wore that blood-stained coat until after they were dead.
Okay, fine. So what?
So, when we discovered the body, the knife had been thrust through the coat along with the body.
That must have happened. Because otherwise they would have to cut the hole first through the coat and then... No, otherwise they must have done it... Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense because they're in the shop for... Yeah, okay. Definitely
Meaning,
after.
if she wasn't stabbed until the coat was put on, and she was already dead at that point,
True. That's actually another reason.
obviously the stab wound isn't what killed her.
And that's why the Monokuma file doesn't explicitly say that the stab wound killed her. It was just an interesting fact to point out.
Maybe you stabbed her twice. Once to kill her and once to cover it up.
The victim was stabbed twice in the same spot? No. There's no way that's possible. The exact condition of the body was written down for everyone to see. How convenient, it's right here, the Monokuma file.
I got it! The Monokuma file clearly states that there was only one stab wound.
Oh yeah, it sure did. I totally forgot about that.
Then the knife...
Was just another piece of camouflage set up by the true killer.
So much camouflage though.
They probably stabbed her to draw attention away from what actually killed her.
Which is what? That now becomes the question, but why go through so much trouble of camouflage? I mean, this really seems to point out that whoever really killed us, like, really tried to pin it on us, right? That seems to make the most sense. Why would you go through all the effort of camouflaging it in a way that makes sense that it would be us being the killer? But that means that person has to know a lot about what we've particularly been doing as well, and when we were here and when we were there, and she has to know about our schedule basically to align everything perfectly so that they will make it seem like we are the killer. Because, for example, if a person doesn't know that where we were between 10 p.m. and 7:30, then they can't actually, you know, camouflage and put these things into this specific way that we don't have an alibi and the suspicion falls on us. So, whoever actually did it has to know a lot about us for some reason. And then kaboom.
Exploding the body afterward was probably meant to do the same thing.
So the explosion is definitely meant to get rid of certain facts and evidence that would otherwise point back to that person, right? Besides also probably covering up the identity. But that was pretty easy to figure out. Or we figured out early.
The explosion severely damaged the body, making it impossible to know what really killed her.
Now 2.
It was all the killer's attempt to destroy all evidence of their crime.
So they wanted us to notice the stab wound and then detonated the body afterward.
But if it's the Monokuma bomb, right? It was something with motion. I'm pretty sure Byakuya said it was like it had... I'm not sure if it was a motion sensor or something, but he definitely said something with motion. But it was turned off at that moment when Hiro was holding it. So someone actually took that bomb, put it there, and then based on the motion, because we tried to remove the hat, right? Or the mask. That's probably the motion that eventually detonated the bomb.
They meant for us to latch onto the knife as the cause of death, then destroy any evidence proving otherwise.
Oh, hey, I have a question. It kinda goes back to the beginning, but... what's the deal with that explosion anyway? Why'd the body just blow up all of a sudden like that?
If you bothered to put that lump of gray matter between your ears to use, you'd know the answer.
Well, if you're so smart, just tell me.
I'll tell you. I bet some unknown quantum particle caused an atomic level spontaneous combustion!
I'm not even gonna dignify that with an answer. Like, okay, he used, you know, long, difficult words. Good for you, Hiro. Probably had a dictionary right in front of him, like, atomic level, oh, I'm gonna use this. Spontaneous, oh, combustion, yes, I'll use this too.
I might be dumb.
It sounds convincing.
But even I'm not dumb enough to believe that.
Go ahead, Makoto. Tell her or we won't make any headway on this.
There's only one explanation I can think of for the explosion. Fragments near the body. Is it this? There isn't anything that particularly says bomb, right? I'm pretty sure there isn't, so it's gotta be fragments near the body.
I got it! After the explosion, we found a tiny fragment of something on the ground near the body, right? That fragment reveals the cause of the explosion.
Huh? You know, I feel like I've seen something like it somewhere before.
That's only natural, because of course, we saw the same thing when we dismantled Monokuma. It's part of a bomb.
Oh! Then the explosion was because of the Monokuma bomb.
Yep.
Anyway, the culprit's motive is becoming more and more obvious by the minute. They wanted the knife wound to look like the fatal injury so that we'd suspect Makoto.
Yeah, but why? Who is trying to frame us here? That's the thing that I really want to figure out.
And the only one who would benefit from that is the only other possible suspect. You, Kyoko.
Oh, this back and forth game. Between now it's Makoto, now it's Kyoko, now it's Makoto, now it's Kyoko again.
Hold on a second, Byakuya.
What's the problem?
Well, I just feel like we need to think this through. We still don't know what actually killed the victim.
That's true. It's definitely bugging me. What really killed her?
Fine. I have no problem with that. Let us continue the debate. It won't change the facts of the case regardless.
We need to determine what ultimately killed the victim. I need to concentrate. There's nothing. Monokuma file 5. There's nothing in there. Absorb bullet time, I guess.
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure.
Oh,
I guess.
no.
Well, yeah. She was already totally dead when that happened.
And it wasn't because of the knife, right?
No.
Then there's only one other thing.
Oh, yeah. According to the Monokuma file, that's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
What?
And more than that,
As evidence?
the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire body.
The knife was a cover-up and all the other wounds on her body weren't fresh. Which only leaves the hit on the head.
Then, shall we
I
continue
can't
the
get
debate?
that out of the Monokuma
The victim's
file,
fatal.
though, but
The
I guess.
explosion didn't kill.
Well, yeah.
And it wasn't then.
Oh, yeah. That's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless
And
wounds
then
across her
the fatal thingy.
Then, shall we continue the
debate.
The victim's fatal injury
No, that's wrong.
Yes! Okay. Well, this seems strange.
Mukuro died because of the blow to the back of the head she suffered.
What about the wounds all over the rest of her body? They didn't have anything to do with it?
The Monokuma file makes it clear that those weren't fresh wounds.
Oh yeah, good point. If they were old, I guess they don't really matter.
Okay, then we're safe in assuming the blow to the back of her head is what killed her.
It's a decent assumption.
But then, what was the murder weapon?
I can't exactly remember though. Like what's... I can't exactly remember the Monokuma file. Can we just go back? Truth bullets. Monokuma file 5. Two victims, however, were dead before the blast. The victim was stabbed a single time with a knife. They'd also been struck in the head with an object. What? Did I really not read this part? Are you fucking kidding me? I apparently did not read this part. Wow. I feel incredibly stupid. I just simply had to scroll down. They also been struck in the head with an object about as thick as a metal pipe. The body was covered with other wounds, but these are at least several days old. Okay. Wow. I just honestly thought that this was it. And then I went on to the next one, and especially the first time we received the Monokuma file as well. I just thought this was it. Because usually, like, you know, when something is, like, cut off, you see parts of the word cut off, or it's like this, and it stops mid-sentence, but this is what, like, perfect, so to me it seemed like, because I didn't check whether you could scroll down or whatnot, yeah. I'm stupid, I overlooked that part, my bad. Okay.
The Monokuma file says she was hit with a blunt object, about as thick as a metal pipe.
Oh, I bet it was the pickaxe.
Possibly?
How is that even possible? If you hit someone with that, it'd cave their skull in completely.
Yeah, then you'd have like this but the pickaxe was at the same exact spot. it didn't have blood on it or anything, so...
Well, maybe they held it the other way and hit her with the handle.
No way! The balance would be all off. You wouldn't be able to swing it with any kind of power. I wouldn't mind testing it on you if you want.
No thanks. I bet you just hit me with the metal end and call it an accident.
I'd love to scoop out that nasty brain of yours, throw it on the ground and spit on it.
Normally I would say like, okay, this is really inappropriate for you to say, Toko. But this time I'm like half agreeing with her. Half only.
I feel the same way. Looks like we're on the same page this time.
Good to know that they both dislike each other.
Seriously?
Can't we all just get along, is what Hina's thinking?
We want to figure out what killed her, right? It just so happens we already know.
We already know? I knew we could count on you, Master.
So what was it?
Go ahead and tell them, Makoto. Surely you've deduced the real murder weapon?
Oh, that's gotta be something we found together then. Because he wants me to have the honor. What was it though then? The real murder weapon. He knows no, we pretty much used all of this. Tarp, definitely not the knife. We used that. Monokuma woodblock key. Titanium arrows? Duct tape, definitely not. Account, disguise the body. The arrows in, but this is, it's made of like a, the material that it's made out of seems possible. You know, that it could, if you hit with it, because it's hard, it's made out of freaking titanium. But I don't know if it seems like it's too thin or something, or it's just not strong enough. Not necessarily not strong enough, because the material is definitely strong enough, but just like, I don't know, when you think of an arrow and you hit someone with the arrow on the head, it just seems too fragile of a thing that it couldn't cause for it to be someone's cause of death, you know? I was hit on the head by an arrow. Like, that would be enough of a hit that it does so much damage that you actually die from that? That, I don't know. Like, what else could it be though? This one, woodblock key, I don't know. Woodblock key decoration was found, it was actually looked like a key. But that's wood though. Wood, I mean, sure, yeah, sure, wood hurts. But there's no blood on it. I don't know. If I had to choose one of the two, I'd probably say the titanium arrows. Yeah, everything else just accounts. Duct tape definitely wasn't it, but this will come up later. So if it comes up later, then it makes sense that this will be in the same place as... Yeah, okay, I guess it's the titanium arrows.
I got it! Mukuro was hit in the back of the head with something. And that's what killed her. And that something was the titanium arrow we found in the locker in the dojo.
An arrow? That's what the culprit attacked Mukuro with?
Indeed. There's no doubt about it.
Are you sure? That sounds kinda weird.
Kinda?
Hey! How dare you backtalk, Master? You have no right!
I'm not backtalking anything. I'm just saying what I think.
I don't blame Hina for doubting it. Because there's one more thing about that weapon. One more secret. One more secret? What? Woodblock key, titanium arrows.
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right?
Yeah.
I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, 'cause in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a
Yeah.
metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
Talking back to Master! You have no right!
If it was just that titanium arrow, it wouldn't be nearly thick enough. Which is why they use... Oh...
The titanium arrow.
They wrapped it.
It was in the
duct tape
dojo
around
locker,
it,
right?
causing it to make it thicker. But
I
what?
have
What
no
is
doubt
this
that
duct
was
tape
the murder
really?
weapon.
Okay, I'm
Are you
gonna
sure?
try this.
You don't sound...
Well,
With too thin.
it said the weapon must... It seems like an arrow would just be...
What?
No, that's wrong.
But what? They wrapped duct tape around it? does that really make the impact harder?
You're right.
I guess it does, but
Just
doesn't that
the one
soften the
arrow would
impact
have been
too?
too weak. That's why
Oh,
the killer
multiple
used
together,
another weapon.
okay. They could have grabbed a bunch of arrows together and then, you know, taped it together and then hit on the head with a bunch of titanium arrows all taped together. That could make sense.
Another weapon?
Inside the dojo locker, we also found a balled-up wad of duct tape. The killer probably used this duct tape to bind multiple arrows together.
Yeah, okay.
Bundling them together using the duct tape would easily create a single weapon as thick as a pipe.
Yeah, okay. That makes a lot
And
of
that's
sense.
exactly what the killer did.
Ba-bam.
It's similar to Aesop's fable about the bundle of sticks.
One stick is weak, but put them together, and they become strong. It's meant to teach cooperation.
Wow, this is the... Like, you know, sometimes you get a few flashes of normal Toko, especially when it's about literary stuff.
Damn, that's harsh.
How is it harsh? Are you even listening?
Anyway, that explains the murder weapon. As for who the culprit is that stashed the weapon in the dojo locker,
Oh... Kyoko? Because of the key?
it was you, Kyoko.
Really? This is really...
I've never been to the dojo.
Oh no, you absolutely have.
How can you say that with such confidence?
But it could be Byakuya as well, right? Because he then put the... But he has an alibi. I guess he could have done it during the night. Because he's the one that technically also has access to Kyoko's room, because he put the key in there. Because he has the key, you know? Therefore, he could put the woodblock key in her room. But then why would he put it in her room? Because everyone should know that Kyoko doesn't have access to her room. Because but that means that... Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense because of the timing event. She doesn't have access during the time of the murder or like a day before that even.
Because we have proof, of course. Don't we, Makoto?
I mean, we do.
What's the matter?
We don't want to say that it's Kyoko, that's the matter.
Surely you don't intend to protect a murderer. You know what will happen if you do, don't you? If you cover for the culprit, there's only one thing that can lead to. The death of us all, remember?
Of course I remember.
Is it really Kyoko? Come on, girl.
Then show us. Show everyone the evidence that proves Kyoko went to the dojo.
Alright. She's as calm as ever. Although, to be honest, I'm pretty sure if you held a gun to Kyoko's head, she would still be as calm as ever. Evidence that Kyoko went to the dojo. It must be connected to the dojo locker. Blah, 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 with block key for sure.
I got it!
We found it in her room.
The one thing that proves Kyoko was in the dojo is... right here. The key to the dojo locker.
This hurts.
And how does that prove anything?
It was in your room.
Because I found it in your room.
It was in my room?
She's surprised about that.
Don't bother trying to play dumb. That key is just the final piece of the puzzle. Your non-existent alibi, your clear motive, your attempts to frame Makoto for the crime. This all proves that you are the true culprit. You can't explain this away, so just give up.
Hold on a second.
Not this again. You really are dead set on defending her, aren't you?
Cause I don't think, and I don't like the fact that it can be Kyoko.
No, it's not that I want to defend her. It's just...
I mean, it doesn't make sense.
there's one more thing I need to ask her. Kyoko, I want you to tell me something.
Now is not really the time for a heart-to-heart, but... What? Oh, if she was in our room, right.
Last night, you were in my room, weren't you? Why? What were you doing there? That's what I need to know.
What else? What if she's actually protecting it? But that couldn't make sense because when she was in our room, for some reason she's in our room, but you know, she doesn't have access to her own room at that point. So what? Huh.
I was just protecting you.
So that means that the key wasn't in our room and she took it. But then how did she put it in her own room? Then someone else is framing us and not Kyoko, and she is protecting us. But who the fuck is framing us?
What?
She was protecting me? Then does that mean she... What the fuck? She saved us from... Right. It could just mean that she was that and not the block key was in the room at all. Why would I think it was in our room? Fuck me. She knew I was being attacked. And she came to my rescue. Could that be when... Which would mean that Kyoko... She killed someone... For me? Is it really the sort of obvious thing that we thought at the beginning wasn't true, turns out to be true actually?
That's enough. The time for idle chatter is over. A verdict is close at hand.
Wait. I'm warning you. Don't make this mistake. I'm not the killer.
I knew you were stubborn, but this is just getting ridiculous.
I really don't think Kyoko is it though.
Really? But you should know better than anyone I didn't do it. Can you tell me I'm wrong?
I should know?
Cause Byakuya tried to frame us? No. I don't know. What? Byakuya should know better than anyone? What does that mean? Alright, because the key is in her room. Ah, and he's the only one that has the thingy access to her room because of the key.
Those words you just spoke. What do you mean?
And the body was found.
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit.
Proof.
Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo locker, and then left the locker key in my own room.
But she couldn't
Correct.
have.
But could I really have done that?
And the body was found. Wait. Kyoko gave her room key to Byakuya, right? Which would mean...
Those words you just spoke. What do you mean?
I feel like we need to soak up the body.
Exactly
Because it doesn't
what I
have much
said.
to do with when the body was found.
I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit.
This is the answer.
Is
This
that
is what we
you're
gotta
saying?
hit. I'm pretty certain.
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo locker, and then left the locker key in my own room, correct? But
Yeah, it
could
has
I
to be
really
this.
have done that?
This is the proof that connects him, that Kyoko couldn't be the one that did it, and actually Byakuya was it.
Those words
Is
you
it really
just spoke.
Byakuya then?
Exactly. I'm
I
not
don't think
the killer.
Byakuya killed...
You should
But why did
understand that
he
more
put
than
the-
anyone here.
Byakuya,
This is
What are
so
you,
like
Master?
people
Would
trying to
he
frame
There's
each other.
proof that you aren't the...
No, that's wrong.
I don't get it anymore. Not that I don't get it, it's just like the motive
If
behind
I'm
it.
right, Kyoko wouldn't have been able to get into her room.
Besides, I guess, winning the game, but...
Because she had given her room key to Byakuya.
I see. So that's what you meant. And if I had the key to your room...
yeah.
Then obviously I had no way of getting in.
Except the secret Monokuma thing that you told us.
Without my room key, I couldn't have possibly put the locker key in there myself.
True.
Am I wrong?
It would appear not.
Huh, he agrees with her.
Then you're finally starting to understand.
Anyone else? Who possibly has access to her room? No one else. A legitimate way as far as we know. No, that's not actually true. There was a clear contradiction in what Kyoko just told us. An obvious lie. But this just isn't like her. To try and save herself with such a desperate lie? Oh, what? Does she really feel that threatened? Because she's the killer? Or is it something else? Was there some deeper meaning hidden in what Kyoko said earlier? What exactly? If you vote for me and I die here, the mystery of the school will stay hidden forever. Meaning the mystery of the school has something to do with her. Right? What if she is actually the mastermind? No, but the mastermind was said to be male in her 30s. If the files that was found by Alter Ego in the laptop if they are legitimate files. They could have been fake files, but but the mystery definitely of this school definitely has something to do with Kyoko. I agree with that. That's definitely true. So if she dies, then but look at what she says. If you vote for me and I die here, that's basically already saying that if you vote for me, you're gonna be right, and that means I'm gonna die here. So she basically rather want everyone else of us to die and she won't die so that she can solve the mystery of the school, and then she'll be the only one alive. Because that's what it comes down to, right? Either everyone else dies or Kyoko dies. Fuck, I'm actually now certain that Kyoko did. I mean, she's saying it, right? If you vote for me and I die here. That's basically saying that if you vote for me, that means that that will result in my death. Right? Which is why I can't let that happen. This is a trap the mastermind has laid for us. Oh god. The mastermind's trap. I feel as well like this is definitely a trap. I don't feel like... Why would... Kyoko wouldn't go through all this trouble of trying to frame us? I feel... I don't think so. She was more concerned with... I think she's more concerned with like the entire mystery of the school and herself rather than trying to get away with a murder. The mastermind is trying to trap Kyoko? Maybe because Kyoko is getting close to the truth or finding it out. But what if that's not really true? What can I do? What should I do? What should I... The mastermind's trap. The victim was Makuro? And Kyoko killed her? What does Kyoko really know? What am I supposed to do? Kyoko's lie. Am I the only one who knows it's a lie? Am I the only one who can expose it? But who can I trust? What am I supposed to do? The mastermind's trap. If you spend all your time trying to avoid danger, you'll never move forward. We know the danger, but if that risk means solving the mystery, we have no choice. Am I wrong? No. What do I do? I need to decide right here and now whether or not to expose Kyoko's lie. Pursue the lie, that's eventually... Oh my... Runaway. Alright, we have the option. I don't think Runaway is gonna do anything. Like I said, fuck it, I'm out of here, peace out. That's definitely not a viable option. Pursue the lie. But then... If we pursue the lie, then we're exposing Kyoko, meaning everyone's gonna vote on her, she dies. We don't want that to happen for obvious reasons, besides the fact that we don't really want her to die, and that the mystery lies with her. Like, it's mainly that. The mystery, I feel like she is definitely part of the mystery of this school. And she is actively trying to find out what it is as well. That's why she said this is probably a personal thing with her, right? This is more of a personal last trial for her. So, I'm gonna let it go. But then what happens if we let it go? I mean, obviously, They're not gonna burst in here and sing the song, so if we let it go, that means because the suspicion is currently in Byakuya. If it is not Byakuya, then we all die, including Kyoko. No, wait. Yeah, it does, right? Yeah, that means we all die. Unless, no, wait. Fuck, no, never mind. What the fuck am I thinking? Then we all die, including Byakuya, but not Kyoko. So it's basically just sacrifice. Okay. It's either pursue the lie means Kyoko's gonna die. Let it go means we all die except Kyoko. So this means, what do we care about more? Do we care more about the mystery? Trying to solve the mystery even though we personally have no idea what the fuck we can do about it because we'll be dead? Unless this is a test, but I don't think it would be. Or do we care more about us being alive, Kyoko, and then... But what Kyoko said is definitely true. Fuck me. I don't want to pursue the lie though. I don't want to run away. I don't want to let it go. I don't want to do any of this shit. This is choosing between the lesser of two evils, although they're both evils and none of it is a lesser evil. Choosing between two evils. Okay, I feel like, okay, if we just take out the fact like we're Makoto, blah blah blah, we have a personal interest. This is the fact that like I think it's important. The mystery around this entire school is both important to all of us, even if we all end up dying, that it's exposed, right? And it's definitely a more personal matter to Kyoko as well, meaning that she will most likely have a higher chance of exposing this shit, even if we're all dead, than we all do if she ends up dying. And especially because part of her has to do with it, meaning if she dies, part of the secret and the mystery will then be gone. So as much as it sucks, are we gonna die though? But if we die, then what happens? What's gonna happen then? I'm actually thinking let it go is the correct option, but I'm just more wondering like what the fuck is gonna happen after that? Well, fuck it, I trust this is the good answer. It makes the most sense if we want to... If we think about the bigger picture, basically. And I feel like that's what we have to think about. Because it's the 5th chapter. We need to think about wrapping this up at some point, right? It isn't just gonna end up, oh, one person ends up being alive. Congratulations, you graduated. No. Alright, I'm gonna let it go. I've made my decision. I have to believe in Kyoko. Like, I feel like... You know, everything that we've done together, even though she's not a person that opens up a lot, even though partly because I feel like it's not in a character to do so, and it's part of her you know, she doesn't know much about her past. But it's not for nothing, right? Everything that we sort of plotted together, thought of together, that has to have a reason behind it. And I do believe she knows way more than all of us, definitely. And she has... I believe in Kyoko. There's no way she would kill someone. I don't know. There has to be some secret here. Something that has to do with the mastermind's trap that Kyoko mentioned. It could just all be that this is indeed a trap.
Well, does no one have a rebuttal? Have you decided to accept her assertion as fact?
Apparently, I'm going with it.
I see. So you still refuse to accept it.
This sucks so much though. It's like it's choosing between, you know, if we go with Byakuya, it's what everybody else thinks is the right thing, whereas if we go with Kyoko, it's what I think is the right thing. You know, what is the right thing for all of us? Whereas, but the thing is that everyone else isn't going to see it that way.
I suppose we have to admit that Kyoko didn't put the locker key in her room. That it was someone else.
Definitely, that's for sure.
But who else could it have been?
The mastermind, I guess.
I mean, Byakuya had a room key, right?
It's either Byakuya or someone else that has access to the rooms, which would then be either Monokuma or the mastermind.
You! What are you trying to imply?
But of course, I have an alibi. From nighttime on, I was with you guys the entire time. I couldn't possibly have killed anyone, or put the key in Kyoko's room.
Well, someone had to put the key in there.
There's only one other possibility I can think of. Someone could have had the key on them, then once they arrived at the scene, pretended to find it there.
Ah, so you're saying it's me?
What?
Motherfucker.
It had to be Makoto, right?
I don't see any other option.
Fuck.
Wait a second. You've got it all wrong. Let's think about it one more time. There's gotta be a hidden side to this case.
Aren't we like completely out of clues?
Huh? A hidden side?
First of all, there's something off about this entire trial. You all see it, don't you? Mukuro, who we didn't even know existed,
Yeah.
suddenly shows up dead. And then we're thrown into a trial.
I agree, like this entire class trial doesn't seem to make much sense. Just the fact like what suddenly someone we don't even know and haven't known this entire time ends up dying and we're all thrown into the class trial?
And Kyoko even said, it's a trap the mastermind set for us. So that's why this has to be...
Trap?
Okay, time's up!
Huh?
Uh-oh. What does that mean?
Time's up! Class trial's all over! Everyone can stop talking now!
Was this really a test?
What? Time's up?
Wow, I've never seen Makoto that worried. Holy shit, the look on his face.
What do you mean time's up? There's no time's up. Since when have we...
It's because you were late, so we had to push back the start time.
Oh, come on, it was 10 minutes. Even before it, we never ever went over the time limit.
So then, it's time for voting time, okay?
What do we vote?
Everyone, please vote using the lever in front of you.
Voting time?
You're fucking kidding me, right? Cha-ching! Oh yeah, give me them coins.
Now, who will be chosen as the blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one?
Hey, hold on!
What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
He's really trying to push this for some reason. This is gotta be part of the trap. I mean, oh, we're not even voting actually. What does this mean? What? Everyone voted for me? What? No. You think I'm the killer? Sorry, man.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. It's all your fault. What? Everyone, you're wrong. Goddamn Byakuya. What? You've got it all wrong. I didn't do it.
Yes, indeed.
Good job, everyone. Good job? Is he saying he's right? What the fuck?
Yep.
They got it right. No, I know that's not true. None of this makes any sense. This whole trial doesn't make any sense.
Hey!
It makes perfect sense!
Shing!
It's the same as always. It's just like any other class trials. And I'm gonna end it the same way.
Thrills, chills, kills!
It's time for your heart-pounding, positively thrilling punishment. Wait, why is she mad? Holy shit, look at her. Kyoko is mad. Kyoko!
I don't expect you to forgive me. I know this is all my fault.
Because she... Oh, what? Because we're basically taking the blame, right? I don't know if it was exactly Kyoko. But then... No, it's actually me, right? Because... I don't fucking know! I'm so mind-fucked. Kyoko? She said it's her fault, though, in some way.
Let's give it everything we've got! It's punishment time!
For fucking real? We're getting punished? Makoto has been found guilty. Is this just a bad ending or what? This has gotta be part of it. What the fuck? Uh-oh. Teacher Monokuma. Hell no. Ugh, after school lesson. Uh-oh. What the actual fuck? Wait. Did anyone notice the blackboard? The top left of it. Go back and check it out. What the fuck? What? Chihiro? Or alter ego? What? Did alter ego intercept? But I thought alter ego was... What? What's this? What's going on? Hey, what was that? Yeah, it had to be.
This is...
Alter ego. Alter ego? Is this some stupid virus from that stupid guy? He must have planted it when he invaded my network. Damn it all to hell! I don't believe this!
It would seem...
You finally made a miscalculation. No, you miscalculated everything from the beginning.
What the heck?
What was that?
In other words,
What I'm saying is, you shouldn't have underestimated us. Really, did Chihiro? I mean, you know, I was actually thinking that Chihiro programmed something, or it was either that there was just sort of like a special thing to alter ego, but I actually thought it was more for bad. Like, you know, it was actually programmed in a way that maybe it was leading us on the wrong trail in some way. Just because I don't trust anyone and I can't trust shit. But dang. So alter ego saved us there, and we fell down into, I don't know, like a garbage chute or something. Why are you talking like you've already won? But the fact that Chihiro, I mean, you can't... It doesn't surprise me because it was the ultimate programmer, right? That the fact that she probably thought about certain scenarios and just like, okay, if this happens, you know, this program will do this, save this person, something along those lines. The fact that they actually did, wow. Dang. I barely felt a thing! It was a pinch, an itch. This stupid virus is gone now. Got it? And so is Makoto. Maybe I didn't get to smash him flat, but you're never gonna see him again. To waste away in a garbage-strewn pit. In a way, that's an even better special punishment. But it's still not enough. I'm not satisfied. I'm still gonna bring despair to the rest of you. Bring despair to the entire world. Is he gone? Hey, Kyoko, what's the meaning of all this? Just what the hell is going on?
calm down.
It's okay. We're not the ones being trapped this time. What?
In other words,
Now it's the mastermind that's ensnared. Oh my god.
What did you say?
What are you talking about?
so...
You'll understand soon enough. Very soon indeed. What the fuck?